All right, I think I am live or up. All right, so it is about 6 o'clock, I think, or so. So we're going to get it started and make sure I. Excellent, excellent. All right, so it is about 6 o'clock. So I'm going to get it started. And no matter where you're joining me from, so likely no one live at the moment, but if you are joining me 10 years in the future, welcome, because I'm definitely going to record this and keep it up. So, welcome, and I want to be able to start doing recurring videos on subjects that I think are a lot of people come up to me or that I read about that are things that we struggle with just as a collective, and things that often go through our head. So obviously, one thing that is big, we are just past the new year, and we've come through one hell of a year previously in 2020. But we made it. We came out the other side. And the thing that everyone is excited to do is to make up for that time if it wasn't exactly what you wanted it to be, and to actually come forward and do all the things that you wanted to do previously, perhaps, that you didn't do. And the one subject that we talked about last week, I believe, or a couple of weeks ago, was actually finding work that you love, and finding work that isn't just there to pay the bills, that actually gets you excited to get up in the morning and to really want to make a difference and to really enjoy the quality of your life. So I had in the previous video just mentioned some ways to some questions to ask yourself, some ways to kind of draw that out of yourself, because a lot of times people get overwhelmed by the thought of finding work that was rewarding to them. And it gets to feel as though it's impossible, as though it's a fantasy, as though it's a fairy tale. And it certainly is not. It is absolutely possible to do if you choose to do that, if you choose to make that your focus. So I wanted to expand a little bit further on that. And for this video, I want you to grab your journal. All right, so whatever it looks like, grab a nice journal that you have, or and a pen. Though alternatively, of course, if you live in the tech age, you can of course do this on your computer. If you have an electronic document up, you can of course do that just the same. Okay, there's something I really do like writing by hand. There's something about writing by hand that I think is absolutely awesome and phenomenal. So these are going to be some questions that you can actually utilize to explore and bring out ideas for you to further dive into, that really can bring out your own powers, the reasons you're here on this planet, some things that you do better than anyone else. So this is what these journaling prompts are designed to do, to really enrich you, to empower you, and so forth. Okay, so the way I kind of utilize this is I have divided these journal prompts into four, I can't count, into 4 sections. Okay, and they're really designed to work in a collaborative way, in a collective way, to kind of give you a snapshot of kind of, where your powers lie, where your strengths lie, and also where you're being drawn. And if there's any sort of patterns that you can kind of see in your life that can kind of help you to figure out what you would like to do. So these 4 sections are strengths, passions, lifestyle values, and world legacy. So again, it's going to be strengths, passions, lifestyle values, and world legacy. So we're going to go in each of those sections, and I'm just going to list just a few journaling prompts for you to explore on your own to really dive deeper and to see what sort of things come up. So first category we're going to talk about is strength. So these are things that are naturally your superpower, things that naturally come to you. And a lot of times we struggle with this because we have, for some reason, accepted the notion that we're not good at anything, that we have no strengths. There's nothing that we're good at. And I know that there's nothing is further from this truth. And oftentimes we are good at things, though we don't give ourselves credit for it. We don't find value or see value in those things. Oftentimes we might have strengths that we haven't been able to work with for so long, so it can be harder for us to see it. But in the strength category, so if you are doing a journaling exercise, just going to write strengths at the top. And question number 1 is going to be, if you've had past work experience, what did you not like about your past work experience, or what do you not like about your current work experience? So this is assuming that you are, number one, maybe in a job that you don't particularly care for. And though this is probably a weaker sort of version, one of the weaker questions, there definitely will be stronger questions that we'll get to, but it still is really good in kind of framing where you want to be versus where you are now. So this is in the strength category, and this is question number 1. What do you not like about your current work? What do you not like about your past work? And also, if you're someone who's younger and you don't really have a whole lot of work experience, you can actually sub that out for volunteering. You can sub that out for school, for education. Basically, anything sort of task-oriented where you have been put into a position of working towards something, that is what you want to think about. Because it could have been camp, school, volunteering, anything like that. What did you not like about that situation? Okay, so you're just going to kind of just, think about what comes up. And it's funny because oftentimes when you talk about things you don't like, oftentimes it's quicker. You're quicker to describe and to know exactly what you don't want, which we need more than that. But again, it can be a good starting point just to list the negation so that we can get to the positive and actually what you're drawing to, because not knowing what you don't want in itself is not going to be enough. You're just going to constantly be running away from what you don't want, but you won't ever arrive at what you do want. But knowing what you don't want is and listing it and being aware of it is also a good thing to prevent you from doing things in the future and repeating that over and over again. All right, so this is number 2. And actually, you know what? This isn't the strengths category. This is actually the passions category. Apologize. So this is the passions category that was in. So the next thing they're going to do is actually the strength category. And this is going to be, what were your strongest strengths in your past work or the strongest strengths in your current work? Okay, so this is strength number 1. All right, I kind of skipped ahead around that. Sorry, my notes are not very organized. So number 1 is strength in the strength category. What were your strongest strengths in your current or past work? Okay, so what were you good at? So this is where you're going to really think about, again, in your past work or current work, your past schooling, if that's what you also have to get in, look into, any education, volunteering, anything like that. What were you good at? Now, this is not necessarily something that you like to do, but this is more about what you're good at and what you found that you were efficient at. And this is a category where oftentimes it may not be the most glamorous thing. Um, as an example, I am someone who comes from an administrative background. Okay. And though I am a certified hypnotic coach, I was pretty strong in administration. So I wouldn't call it a passion, but I would call it a strength. And it's something that I felt confident in doing because I've had experience with it. I know that I got feedback that I was pretty competent at it, that I was pretty efficient at it. So I would get that compliment. So I know that this was something that was a strength, not necessarily a passion, but it was something that I could do and potentially do well. So that would go down in the journal. Okay, that underneath the strength category, what are my strongest strengths in past work? I can write administration, and I can break that down into doing what certain administrative tasks and whatnot. Okay, so also in the strength category, again, what does everyone else say that you're good at? And this is where it's really good to get feedback from other people. You may even have to just straight up ask, what are you good at? This is where performance reviews, everyone hates performance reviews. They kind of suck. I get it. But one thing that can actually be beneficial when you're actually trying to shape yourself into, create a certain career or see what you're good at or what you like to do, it can actually provide some information. Performance reviews can actually tell you straight out what your strengths are, what you're good at. And so that's one way to kind of glean that information. And another way to kind of do it is to literally just ask your supervisors, ask your coworkers, what your strengths are and what you tend to be good at. Okay, so that's the strengths category. All right, so the next category we're going to talk about are passion. And this is the category that everyone likes to really talk about and dive in. This is a fun category, obviously. And the first question for the passion category is actually, we did it already, which is, what do you not like about your current work or past work? We kind of dived into that a little bit already. So you're going to list under there, what do you not like about your current work? What do you not like about your past work? Okay. And again, this just gives you a stepping off point for you to explore further. All right. The next passion question is, what do you like regarding your current or past work, your current or past education, your current or past experience volunteering? So this is where you're going to list what you enjoy, So let's say you were working in a bookstore, and in your past, and though you certainly did not like the hours that always change, it's hard to maybe plan around it, that sort of a thing. You didn't like that, so that would go down. You maybe did not like, having to deal with people that are rude to you. Maybe that can go down. But what you do like, perhaps, is having a discount to be able to purchase books because you're an avid reader. Having access maybe to early release books or something like that. Having access to, back pre-pandemic, to maybe getting announcements to when people would come in to talk about their book, a book tour or something like that. So you would just write down what you do like. And keep in mind, you're not going to use all of these things. This is literally a way to brainstorm and just kind of mind map and really get your juices going and kind of get a little bit of a picture. And you're going to find certain things will jump out at you and that will lead you down a certain path. But it starts with just letting the thoughts come, letting all the ideas come and working with it in that regard. Okay. So the next passion question we have is, what did you want to be when you were 7? What did you want to be when you're 7 years old? 6 or 7. So this is a very, very young age. And I believe this is a huge, really a telling time of your life where your natural abilities, your natural obsessions, often at that time that start to develop, really is key to number one, what you're naturally good at, so your strengths, but also what you're passionate about. For me, it was all reading and writing and that sort of a thing. It could be, maybe it was, cars, maybe it was storytelling, maybe it was acting, maybe it was dancing. All right. Maybe it was music, and maybe it was movies. Like what did you really, really enjoy back when you were young and around 6 or 7 years old? Okay. So you're just going to list that out. And again, if this is something that you sort of struggle with, then you can always, if possible, if you have access to someone who especially someone older who knew you at that age, you can, of course, you can ask them. You can also revisit these times through what's called age regression as well, which is a sort of hypnosis that actually can take you back to that time and just it comfortably just let what comes through come through as far as unlocking your memories. It's said that the subconscious really records everything and never truly forgets. The information is still there. It's just a matter of being able to access it and allowing it to come through. Okay. So another passion question as well is, what did you love to do when you were 6 or 7 years old? Like how did you really like to pass your time? Like, what did you really enjoy doing when you were that young? And how did it make you feel? And again, this is something that you can remember, 6 or 7 years old, I want to say is probably about first or second grade. I mean, in the United States normally. So that hopefully that helps to equate around roughly when, that's probably that's actually probably for me personally, the beginning of my strongest memories. I do remember before that. I remember my earliest memories, I think, that I know for sure was when I was 4, but it gets a little bit dicey around there. But right around first grade and even kindergarten, kindergarten to first grade is when I really remember a lot. So that could be for you as well, when there's a time where you remember. All right. Also in the passion category, what currently, right now, are your favorite 5 things to do with your free time? So what do you love to do right now with your free time, with your hobby time? All right. Is it travel? Is it shopping? Is it eating in restaurants? Is it, horses? Like, is it collecting things? Like, what are some 5 things that you really like to do now? Okay. So this also is going to be in the passion category. And also in the same passion category, I want to step back as well. We talked about what you like in your current work. I want to kind of keep going a little bit deeper in that. So after you list what you like in your current or past work, what you liked about it, then there's got to be something about it that you like. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. There's got to be something that you like, even if it's the pay, even if you don't get any, even the benefits, whatever that is, even the people, maybe whatever you like about your current work. Once you list it, I want you to ask why that is. Why do you like that? What is it about what you put down that you enjoy? For example, if you say, I just like the money. All right. Why do you like the money? What are you doing with the money that is so great? What about that level of pay is fulfilling you? What are you doing with it that is making this good for you? If you like the people, what type of people, why do you like your coworkers? What type of people are they? This is all going to be important to be able to craft exactly what you kind of are wanting to work towards at a later time. All right. So that's the passion category. Okay. So we covered strengths and we covered passions. And now we're going to cover lifestyle values. So you're going to write lifestyle values in your little journal. All right. And then we're going to do a couple questions here. So lifestyle values really are about what is important for you when living your life. What sort of lifestyle do you want to have that this soul work is going to feed you? So the first question we're going to ask is, what would you absolutely love to do with your life and why? So this is, of course, obstacles are be damned. Like, let's already get out the excuse of I don't have enough money, it's too late, I'm too old, I'm this, I'm that, blah 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 blah. You're gonna list what would you if you had a perfect amount of time, a perfect amount of health, perfect amount of money, what would you be doing with your life? What would you want to do as a career, as work? So, for example, let's say, you are 50 years old and you're like, well, I would want to be, a world-class ballerina. That's what I would want to do, But obviously I can't do that because I'm 50. That's not, cut it. So we're simply saying if any obstacles that you could think of were out the way, what would you do? So you say, I would want to be a ballerina, dancing in New York. All right. So you're going to write that down in your journal. That's what you would want to do as of right now. And why? Now, this is where we're going to kind of do the work to really unravel things. Because when you are drawn to certain things, there are usually building blocks or different aspects you're kind of attracted to that are underlying that are kind of piecing that together. So in the ballerina example, clearly the ballerina is the outside. All right, that's the career package. But there's other things that are wrapped up in that career that are drawing you. And this is where this is what you want to kind of dive deeper into. So if you answered a ballerina, all right, playing in New York, why? Why do you want that career and specifically in that area? So this is where you're going to list the things. Well, I love dance. I love ballet. I've always had my entire life. And really talk about the feelings too. What feelings are you drawn to? And I love the excitement of opening night. I love the connections. I love being a part of this wealthy, group, this wealthy organization that has a lot of clout. I love the artistic expression. I love the outreach work that they do. Just really, really list all the reasons that you really want this particular job. Okay, so that's important. So the second question in the lifestyle values section is, how do you want to spend a lot of your time? So how do you want to spend, a lot of your time? So in other words, there's so many different ways to spend time whenever you're looking to create an ideal work that's for you. For example, you can spend it alone. A lot of people are very solitary, especially with the digital nomad culture, people that travel a lot, that have a laptop. Oftentimes they're traveling alone a lot. People love that. People absolutely adore that. They love that. For some people, that would actually make them crazy. Some people would like to spend a lot of time with other people. They like being a part of an organization. They like having coworkers. They like being a part of a team and being able to bounce ideas off of other people, And when you do have other people around you, how do you want them interacting with you? Like, do you see yourself as, again, being part of a team of co-collaborators where you're on the same level? Do you see yourself in a managerial role where you're giving out tasks to people that are below you? Do you want to spend a lot of time with animals? Do you want to spend a lot of time traveling? Do you want to spend your time at home with your family and not travel so much? Like, these are questions that you really should explore, because I'll tell you, in and all the different career paths and career options that you make, they're very different as far as the day-to-day interactions and day-to-day experiences that you have. Some people like the structure of an office and coming to the same place over and over again. Not everyone wants to get rid of that. For some people, the constant jumping on planes and trains and automobiles would stress them out. They would miss their family, they would miss their dog. And some people like the routine of staying in one place. So it's really important to really think about what sort of interactions you're having. Who are you around, if anyone? Or are you mostly with a machine? Are you mostly with animals? Where are you? Are you in a particular place? Okay. Is it busy? Like, do you have a lot of free time, or are you busy? Now, this is another thing where you have to listen to yourself and your own intuition. There is this general culture of everyone thinking that everyone wants to just win the lottery, ideally, and not do a damn thing. And I don't think that that's accurate. I also think that a lot of people think they want that, but that would get old probably after like 3 months. You would probably start to get a little bit depressed if you don't have something to work towards. I do believe that some sort of work is good for most people, that they need something to be able to work towards. A little bit of discomfort, a little bit of stress is probably a good thing to be able to apply yourself towards. However, that is only for you to answer. And obviously, lifestyles, again, can range wildly between having a lot of free time and just doing a few things here and there, or being constantly on the go, constantly, even when people that are retired. I know retired people that are just, I'm late, I got to do this, got to do that, because that's what they like. They like to be on the go. That's their choice. They like that little bit of rush of still feeling like, they need to be places, even though they're retired. So that's a question for you to ask as well, as when you're asking about how do you want to be spending your time. All right. So those are lifestyle values. And then finally, we have the category of world legacy. And this is about the world outside of yourself. This is about what you came here to handle and to fix and to do. This is about how you're going to change the world while you're here and how you're going to leave it when you've moved on. Okay. So the first question you're going to ask, what is the biggest problem facing the world today for you? In your opinion, and actually I'm going to make it plural. What are some of the biggest problems, in your opinion, facing the world today? What really, really fires you up? What makes you angry? What saddens you? What do you know can be better? What, when it gets under your skin whenever something happens? Big ones to throw out include disease, poverty, the fact that poverty exists in the same place that tremendous wealth can exist, education or lack of education, environment, these are just some common things that oftentimes get people sort of in that sort of funk, or in that sort of rage, or just wanting to make change that really gets you fired up and activated. So you're going to write down, again, under world legacy, and you're going to write down what are the biggest problems facing the world today. And you're going to take some time to write that down. All right. So number 2 under world legacy is, what are some possible solutions to each of those problems? After you list the problems, you're then going to write down what are some possible solutions. Now, you may or may not have the answer, and that's okay. But I want you to be aware of something that really, really gets your blood going, and to start thinking about what really can turn this around for the human race and for the planet. And you may start to think about things that already, you may have some ideas already, jot them down. You may not, but what I want you to do is bring this to your attention and start to think about it more. And then lastly, under this category is, you know what? Actually, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So what are some possible solutions to each of those problems? You're just going to dive into those, okay? So I am going to go through it again by section and repeat the questions, okay? So we have 4 sections: strengths, passions, lifestyle values, and world legacy. And these are all going to be used to sort of bring out some ideas on what you'd like to do. All right, so the first category is strengths. And the first question you're going to ask yourself, what were your strongest strengths in your current work or in your past work? Okay, so what were your strongest strengths in your current or past work? Number 2 under strength is, what does everyone else say that you're good at? What does everyone else say that you're really good at? All right, so that's the strength category. For the passions category, number 1 is, what do you not like about your current or past work? What do you not like about your current or past work? Number 2 in the passions category is, what do you like about your current or past work? And why as well, okay? So what do you like about your current and past work and why? Number 3 under the passions category is, what did you want to do when you were, what do you want to be when you were 6 or 7 years old? What did you want to be when you're 6 or 7 years old? All right, was it a scientist, a dancer, a princess? Like, what did you want to be when you were 6 or 7 years old? All right, number 4 is, what did you love to do when you were 6 or 7 years old? How did you like to pass your time? Okay. And number 5, what are right now your favorite 5 things to do with your free time right now? All right, so that's passions, and I believe that's number 5. What did you love to do? What do you love to do right now? Favorite 5 things to spend your time. All right, so next category is lifestyle values. And number 1 is going to be, what if no obstacles at all, time wasn't an issue, money wasn't an issue, age wasn't an issue, what would you love to be or do? Okay, what would you love to be or do? And feel free, it doesn't have to be one thing, you can keep going, you can keep listing several things, it's totally fine. What would you love to be or do if nothing was in your way? All right, number 2 under lifestyle values, how do you want to spend a lot of your free time? Do you want to spend it alone with other people? Do you want to spend it traveling? Do you want to spend it more at home in one place? All right. Do you want to have a lot of free time? Do you want to have be more on the go? Have your calendar kind of filled up? Okay. What type of people do you want around you? Do you want very bohemian, free-flowing people? Do you want professional people that wear suits? How do you want to spend a lot of your free time? Really, what does that look like? What does like a typical day, week, month look like for you in your mind? All right, so that's lifestyle values. And lastly, world legacy. Number 1, what, according to you, are the biggest problems facing the world today? Really list as many as you can that really light you up, that you think this needs to be fixed. And number 2 under world legacy are, what are some possible solutions to said problems that you can think of right now? Now, it doesn't have to be, when I say solutions, it doesn't have to be like wrapped up, solved. All right, give me the Nobel Peace Prize. You know what I mean? Like, it can literally be an idea of something. That's where big changes and passion and your idea for perhaps a new company or your new career path can come from simply an idea of it might work if we do this. Perhaps I can end poverty if we make financial education a part of our system. Perhaps I can end poverty, if we incentivize somehow people spreading their wealth out. These are all simply ideas that might come to you that, some you'll call out to you and you'll follow them further down the path, and some may not. And I think that's just writing it out and journaling it is a way to kind of bring these together. All right. So have fun with these. So I hope you enjoy these, and you should definitely, if you put enough time and spend some time with them, you should start to see some flowing material start to come out. All right. In these categories. And I believe at, the nucleus of these 4 sections: strengths, passions, lifestyle values, and world legacy, you will start to see a path begin to form. You'll start to see what you're good at, what you love to do, all right, what type of life you would like, and what sort of change you want to make in this world. And all these things will tend to marinate and come together and form an idea for you, a path for you. Okay. All right. So thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And definitely check out my site as well. Make sure you're signed up for the newsletter if at all possible. You can certainly sign up there at www.newworldcoaching.org. It's www.newworldcoaching.org. You also can find a free gift there as well. I have a free video series on the site as of the time of this recording. And you can, when you sign up for the newsletter, you will receive that. Okay. And the newsletter, of course, is just going to be announcing videos, announcing any sort of free giveaways, announcing any free content that we put out, and just meant to just support you in your journey. Okay. So thank you so much. And we will see you next time, and be well, stay safe, and you absolutely can do anything you put your mind to at 100%. All right. So I will see you next time. And remember, in order to change your life, you must first change yourself. Be blessed and take care.